Yeah, there are rules for everything, basically, from where to park your bike, because it happened to me like 1,000 times that I left my bike somewhere where I thought I could leave it, and then the same day it was the municipality took it, and I have to pay to get it back. And the same goes for instance, listening to music late at night. When my boyfriend and we moved to a new apartment, I put on the jazz music, quite quietly, to be honest. And within 5 minutes, there was our neighbor calling, and she was complaining, like, "Please, could you turn it off?" And it was like around 8 o'clock, which is too much even for the Netherlands, even for the Dutch. It's a bit too much. If you have an appointment at 6, you come at 6 or earlier. And a lot of people can get really angry because of that. So it's really time is really important. Discipline is really important, and the rules are very important as well. The Dutch society is mostly secular, but they're influenced a lot by Calvinism, and Calvinism emphasizes frugality, time management, being modest, being simple. And in Slavic culture, it's absolutely it's different. Yeah, it's totally different from that. You don't talk about how much you earn. It's not a normal thing to ask. They don't care about it, but they like to save on things, and they like to brag about, like, oh, this costed €8 and I paid €5 for that. So there are a lot of conversations like that. But yeah, you will never see a Dutch person. I mean, no, I don't want to say you will never see, because there are exceptions to everything. But you don't see Dutch people wearing expensive jackets, super, like, you don't see them wearing brands. The, like, physical assets are not that important for them. But yeah, for us, for Slavic people, it's different.
When it comes to maybe beauty and romance, it's a little bit not as much as it could be, let's say, in our culture. But I also think there's some beauty to that you don't need to flaunt it to other people. You know, it's all about, like, who you are as a person and what you can offer in terms of other things. The bragging, the way it exists in our society, doesn't exist.
Absolutely, yeah, they don't show up. But I also think, like, most of the Slavic countries were part of Soviet Union, and in the Soviet bloc back then, it was, people just didn't have access to all those foreign goods, to foreign luxury, and it was like really a thing. I went to Paris and I brought this fur coat from Paris. It was like a real thing, and people wanted to get it. And the transition from communism to capitalism was not easy either. And if you made it, you really made it, and you, like, had to show it to everyone. So I think it has a lot to do with history. But I actually started loving it very much, the way it is in the Netherlands, that people value more what's inside and not what's outside. They really want to get to know you, and the first question when they meet you is not like, "What do you do for a living?" but more of a personal stuff. You can see some fancy people, but just fashion is not that important. Important is simplicity, and I mean, Dutch people think about it in that way, that, okay, I better save some money, I better buy a house in the future, or I do more groceries, or go out to eat, or travel more, rather than spend my money on clothing. I went to my work, and I was dressed I felt in the morning like I want to look nice, and I had time. Mostly I run late, but I had time to do makeup, to wear something nice. But it was not even a dress; it was just a basic costume, basically. But I put on my makeup, and then my colleagues see me and they say, like, "Huh? Do you have a birthday today? Is it your birthday today?" I was like, no, it's not my birthday today. Why? And at least 7 people asked me that. And I was explaining to everyone, no, it's not my birthday. I just decided, well, I'm just looking like that, just casually, basically. But yeah, I just had more time to put on my makeup in the morning. but people were like, yeah, is it your birthday, or is there any party you are attending today? Is there anything special? So it's really well, people usually don't make that much effort to look nice, I would say. But on the other side, it's really normal for the Dutch people to go to the gym. So they really care about their physical activities, about their body, about their health. But I guess it's more about health than looking beautiful. But I'm not sure. But most of the Dutch, they go to the gym, and it's like a very normal thing for older people to attend the gym.
What is something that you struggle with when it comes to mentality or culture or rules or anything else?
Well, to me, do normal, yes, is a thing I struggle with. I mean, that story I told you about Italy when I was jamming on the roof with musicians, and everyone just joined us. It was amazing, and I would like to experience that a lot more. And you don't see it a lot here, so that's I think is the biggest problem I struggle with, next to the Texas weather and the housing.
You mentioned that with Dutch people, it can feel a little bit superficial when you start the conversation. Yeah. And that's a really interesting point, because there's a stereotype that Dutch people are direct. I also think Eastern Europeans are direct, but I do think that the way that they're direct can the way that they come off and the way they perceive directness is quite different.
Yeah, I think you are right there, that for us, for Slavic people, I mean, it's very important to go to the core. And it's also what I noticed and what I mentioned earlier, that when I start, for instance, talking about my background story, it can be like it can easily become too much for the Dutch people. And what I noticed, for instance, at the parties, that's at some point when people get drunk, they start to play board games. While for us, we would already be sitting drunk in the kitchen, singing or talking about our existential crisis and the world's politics. And here it's really not that common. You keep it very simple. And I think that also has to do with that do normal mentality. It's like very simple. And for me also at my work, when I hear people speaking, it's like, how was your weekend? I went with my children to eat at the Chinese restaurant. That was really nice. And yours? Yeah, we went shopping and that. And then they can talk about it for hours, or about the weather. They really like to talk about the weather, and not just to mention like, oh, it's raining and that's it. But no, like, it's raining, and around that time last year it was not raining that much. I heard that it's raining a lot this year, and blah blah blah, and it just goes on and on. So it's really, what I notice is, stays superficial. But again, when you already become friends with a person, and when you get to know a person on a deeper level, of course then you can go deeper, but just it takes some time. And I feel as if for us, for Slavic people, it takes less time before we arrive there. But with Dutch people, you should really be careful in the beginning, but in the end, yeah, you can, when you're friends, you can just be yourself.
But do you think it's true that also, like, Dutch people can be direct in that way, where if you want advice, they will tell it like it is?
Yes, for sure. They can be direct in both ways, I think. But quite often, at least to foreigners I know, and to me as well in the beginning, it sounds rude when they're being direct. So a lot of foreigners here, I know, a lot of my foreign friends, they say like, oh yeah, but Dutch are just rude. They're not direct. They're rude. And I experienced that myself as well. It was very funny. I met a guy, and it was basically one of our first meetings, and we were sitting in a restaurant, and then he told me, oh, okay, so yeah, your grandparents are Ukrainian. It's quite funny because you're so different from all other Slavic girls. And I was like, I took it as a compliment because I thought not because I think there is something wrong with Slavic girls, but because I think he means that my Dutch is very good and I'm very well integrated, and that you almost don't see where I'm from. And I said, oh, okay, thank you. Why is that? And he told me, Slavic girls usually take care of themselves. They usually really, care about how they look like, and they, trying to look perfect. And you're not like that. And then I was like, okay, I will. I was like, okay, I will. I want to know more about that. I was like, yeah, in which sense? You mean that I am not dressed well, or what do you mean? He said, yeah. Well, when it comes to your makeup, you don't wear your makeup is not. I can't say it's perfect. I mean, it's okay, but it's not perfect. And to your teeth, if I were you, I would wear braces. And I was like, oh my god. So you have some Dutch people who are like that, and I'm not even sure whether it's rude or direct to me. By that time, it was definitely more rude than direct. Yeah.